Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now okay, so can you all see this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. So this is a king. Okay, unlike other pieces, king can only move only one step. Okay, in one move, in one turn, he can move one step. One step as in he can move to this square, this square, this square, this. Okay, so any direction, but only one step. Okay, so now okay, so Kanya, from here, can you tell one square where this king can move?
E6.
Okay, so very good. So the king can move to e6. Okay, so now Joshita Shri, can you tell me one square from here?
சொல்லு அங்க ராஜா இருக்காரு அங்க இருந்து சொல்லு வாய் திறந்து சொல்லு
H5, ma'am.
H5 மூவ் ஆகலாம் அது
H5 is here.
எங்க மூவ் பண்ணலாம் ராஜா
The king move only one step, right? So you have to choose only one square around it.
சொல்லு
H4. E4.
So you point
E4. E5. E5.
E5. It can move to E5. Very good. Now, Anudipti, can you tell one square from here? King is in E5. Now, where does it move?
King move F6.
F6. So it can move one step diagonal also, right? Very good. So it can move here. Okay. So next, Vibhav, from here, where can the king move? Hello? It can move to F5. And then, who's the other kid? So, who's this? Vardhan, right? So Vardhan, from here, where does the king move? Hello? Vardhan, are you there?
F5.
Yeah, it can move to F5. So is it clear to everyone how does the king move? So if there is a king here, okay, be on mute. Then all you have to check is these squares, okay? One step up, okay? One step down, one step to the side, and one step in the diagonal. Okay? But there is a rule for it. Okay? If there is an opponent's piece which is controlling any one of these squares, then the king cannot move there. Okay, so I'll show you an example. So this is the black king. For a black, white is the opponent. Say for example, in this position a rook is here, white rook is here. Okay, so generally we learned king can move to any one of these squares, right? But now we have to apply this rule. Okay, the opponent rook is controlling the entire d file. Okay, which means he is controlling here, okay, on d4 and then d5 and d6. Now the king cannot come here. King cannot come to a square which is controlled by the opponent. See, this opponent rook is controlling these three squares. Now the king is restricted. Now king can only move to these squares. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These three squares are not safe. He cannot move. What happens if he moves there? That would be considered as an illegal. Illegal means against the rules. If you make 2 illegal moves in the tournament, you will lose the game. Okay, so always remember, king will not move to a square which is controlled by the opponent. By now, I hope you know what is control. Okay, there is a rook and this is rook's path or the rook's way. Okay, rook move straight like this, right? We learned plus sign. Okay, and the empty squares on its way, the rook controls. Okay, now these 3 squares for the king falls on the rook's controlling range. Okay, so the king cannot move here. Okay, so I want everyone one by one to repeat. So Joshita, repeat after me. King cannot move to a square which is controlled by the opponent.
The control on opponent.
Which is controlled. Okay, since the opponent is controlling that square, you have to omit those squares. Okay, you cannot make the king go there. Now Kanya, repeat after me. King cannot move to a square which is controlled by the opponent. Next, Anudipti. King cannot move to a square
move to the trial.
which is controlled by the opponent.
Is it controlled by opponent?
Okay, next Sanjay. King
Ma'am, actually Sanjay is not feeling well, ma'am. I'm just hearing the class.
Okay, ma'am, no problem. Shanvika. King
Ma'am. King
cannot move to a square
move to a square
which is controlled by the opponent. Just a second. See. இங்க பாரு கிங் ஷான்விகா லிசன் இங்க கிங் இருக்கு இது ஜெனரலா வந்து இந்த எல்லா ஸ்கொயர்ஸ்க்கும் போகும் ஓகே பட் இந்த பொசிஷன்ல there is a rook அந்த ரூக் வந்து பிளஸ் சைன்ல போகும் கரெக்டா சோ அந்த பிளஸ் சைன்ல போறதுனால இங்க இருக்கிற எம்டி ஸ்கொயர்ஸ் எல்லாமே என்னது இட் இஸ் controlled by the rook. Rook controls empty squares on its way. கரெக்டா நம்ம அது முன்னாடி லேர்ன் பண்ணிருக்கோம். சோ இந்த 3 ஸ்கொயர்ஸ் வந்து அது கண்ட்ரோல் பண்றது. ஓகே சோ அதனால ஆப்போனன்ட் கண்ட்ரோல் பண்றதுனால இந்த 3 ஸ்கொயர்ஸ்க்கு அதால போக முடியாது. புரிஞ்சுதா? சோ அதான் ரூல். Did you get it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So be on mute. So whatever I was teaching you, I told that in Tamil. Okay. So she was asking me the doubt, that's why. Okay, Vibha. King cannot move to a square which is controlled by the opponent. Okay, generally it can move one step in all direction, but the squares where the opponent is controlling, those squares you should not put your king. Okay, so that would be a mistake, and you make such two mistakes, you will lose the game. Okay, so next, Vardhan. King
King
cannot
cannot
move to a square
move to a square
which is controlled
which is controlled
by the opponent.
by the opponents.
Okay, so now we will do some exercises on it. So Vardhan, can you tell me where all can this king move? Vardhan,
Yes.
king is here. He can move one step.
A4.
So now you have to apply the rule. Can he go to A4? Is it controlled by the white? You have to check. How does a white bishop move? In which way?
X.
X, right? Like a capital X. So can we say this bishop is controlling this A4? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. So can the king go to this square?
No.
No, it cannot go because it is not safe. It is a mistake. It cannot happen. It cannot go there. Okay. Now tell me the other.
B5. B5.
B5. It can go to B5. Then
A4.
A4. It should not go. See, the rook is controlling, so it should not go. Generally, when the rook is not, bishop. Bishop is controlling. Okay, bishop is controlling the square diagonally, so the king cannot come here. Okay, king can only go to the safe square, that to one step. Okay, so tell me the safe squares. One step around you have to check. One step upwards, downwards, side, diagonal. Come on, next.
A6.
It can go to A6. Then where else can it go? It's easy, right? B4 it can go. One more square.
P6.
Very good. Okay, super. Now next person, Vibhav. Okay, I'll give you one example. So Vibhav, now tell me where can this king move? So it can move only to the safe square, one step.
Yes.
So first step, you find where the opponent is.
இங்க இருக்கு ஆப்போனன்ட் சொல்லு எந்த இடத்துல இருக்கு
A2.
So which three squares the A2 rook is controlling?
இதெல்லாம் வந்து கண்ட்ரோல் பண்றது இந்த ரூக்
With respect to king. Okay, கிங்கோட மூவ் பண்ற ஸ்கொயர்ஸ்ல எந்தெந்த ஸ்கொயர்ஸ் அந்த ரூக் கண்ட்ரோல் பண்றது சொல்லு.
E2.
கிங்னா ஒரு ஸ்டெப் தான் நீ பார்க்கணும் கிங்க சுத்தி. So you have to only check one step around. King is here means you have to check only these.
E2.
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 Sorry, okay, then what else?
சொல்லு
So where this king cannot move? these 3 squares. Now tell me where it can move. So king vandale, you have to check only one step around, okay? One step forward, one step backward, one step sideways from wherever the king is. Wait, listen, and one step diagonal, okay? And under one step, those squares which you are choosing must be safe. If it is not safe, you cannot reach there, okay? Make the king go there, okay? So now where can this go? This king? You have to only check one square around it. Tell me. So where can it go?
H2.
H2, can it go? We just learned this opponent is controlling these 3 squares. Okay. So only it's very simple. Okay. So first thing, king can move one step. But now these 3 squares are not safe because the rook is controlling. So you have to omit these 3 squares. Now this king can move only to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these 5 squares. Got it? So whichever squares opponent is controlling, you have to leave it. So other squares are safe. So you have to tell only these squares which are safe for the king to move. Okay, king can only move any of these squares. You can pick one square among these 5 and then you can make the king move. Okay, so be on mute. Next. Kanya, can you answer this? So where can this king move?
E5.
Okay.
E5.
Okay.
E3.
E3, is it safe or not? Check and tell.
No.
Why?
The queen can go.
Yeah, queen is controlling. The word you use is queen is controlling this square. It's on the queen's way. So this queen is opponent, right? It is not our own black piece. It is white piece. So for black, white is the opponent. So it cannot go to E3. If the queen is not there, then it could have gone here. So where else it can go?
D4.
Check D file fully. Can it move?
No.
How does a queen move? Now the question is, how does a queen move?
Plus.
And also diagonal. It can move like a rook and it can also move like a bishop, which means a queen here is controlling this. Okay. Now we will see with this king's point of view. Okay. King is here. One step around it is these squares. Now in these squares, this square, this, all the blue squares which I pointed out is controlled by the opponent. So the king cannot move to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these 5 squares. So it can move here. This is safe, the green one, okay? It can move here. This is safe. It can move here.
Okay.
So if we take king, he can move only one step. But that step should be safe. Okay, so that is the main point here. Okay, so next. Next, Anudipti, where can this king move?
King move H2.
Okay, check H2. Can it move?
No, ma'am.
Okay, where else?
King move H3.
You check H3, it cannot jump, right? Can a king jump from one square to another square?
No, ma'am.
No. So only one step it can move, right? So it cannot go to H3.
King move G1.
Now check G1. It cannot move anywhere. That is the answer. Okay, the king is here. This is controlled. This is controlled. Okay, usually 1, 2, 3, the squares around it, but they are not safe. This square is not safe. This is not safe. This is not safe. So the king cannot make a move here. Okay, so we will see what is this and all in future class. How do we say it and all later on. For now, we just stick with this concept. Okay. Okay, Joshita Shri, can you answer this?
Answer this.
Ma'am,
சொல்லுவாங்க இரு சொல்லுவாங்க மேம்
Hmm?
எங்கெல்லாம் மூவ் பண்ணலாம் ராஜா மீன்ஸ் கிங் எங்கெல்லாம் மூவ்
So
ஆகும்
you check
பார்த்து சொல்லு எங்கெல்லாம் மூவ் ஆகும்
square, okay, and you tell me which is the safe square. Okay, start.
சொல்லு எங்கெல்லாம் மூவ் ஆகலாம் இப்ப E3ல இருக்காங்க இல்லையா கிங் எங்க மூவ் பண்ணலாம் அங்க மூவ் பண்ணலாமா
Name it. Name the square.
சொல்லு ஸ்கொயர் நேம் மட்டும் சொல்லுங்க சரி இது இந்த ஸ்கொயர் நேம் சொல்லுங்க டார்க் இல்ல ஸ்கொயர் நேம்
D4. D4. D4.
D4. It is safe to move there. Then after D4,
D3.
okay. Then
D2.
okay. Then
D2. E2.
okay. Then
F2.
F2 is also safe. Okay. Then
F4.
very good. F4. So what happened to these two squares?
பிஷப் கண்ட்ரோலிங் சொல்லுங்க
Bishop control.
Let her do. Another, this will become a big issue when they are growing.
ஓகே ஓகே
யோசிச்சு சொல்லட்டும்.
ஏன் அந்த ரெண்டு ஸ்கொயர்ல போக முடியாது மேம் கேக்குறாங்க
So even if they take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, if they could think, that would be a good option than us teaching the answer. Okay. So why it cannot go to these two squares?
Attacking, ma'am.
Attack illa. So that is called control. This is the bishop and bishop goes diagonally. Okay. So if you have to remember, you remember like capital X. Okay. But the English term for it is diagonal. Okay. So bishop, what did we learn about bishop? Bishop controls all the empty squares on its way. Okay. In previous class, we learned that. So this bishop is controlling these squares, and that is the reason king cannot go here. Because for king, there is a rule. King cannot go to a square which is controlled by the opponent. Okay, whichever square the opponent is controlling, to those squares, the king cannot move. Okay, so you have to omit those squares and only make the king move to a safe square. Okay, be on mute. Anudipti. So now I have to take this king, okay, to d4. What will be my first move?
First move.
C2.
Okay, after c2, so you have to go to that square. Okay, c2, then
D2.
in d2 pono, that would be an extra move, right? Sorry. Okay, then after d2, where will you go?
D3.
Okay.
D4.
Can you directly go to d3 from c2?
No.
Why no? King can also move one step diagonal, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You can go here. So that will save a move. Okay. Now you can reach here. Okay. So when you can do some work in 2 moves, you don't need to take 3 moves. Okay. Next. Anya, I want to take this king to d4. So first move. Tell me the first move.
D2.
b2, then that should be b2. Then
D2.
D2. She said
d2 can. Where is the king, Kanya? Which square the king is in?
A2.
From a2, can it jump to d2? Is this one step? No, right? So it can move only one square. So where will it move?
B2.
Okay, b2, then
C3.
very good. Then
D4.
yes. So it can take this move, and then reach here. Okay. So Vardhan, king is here on b8. I want to take this king here. So what would be the first move?
C7.
Okay, c7. Then
D6.
okay. Then
D5.
very good. 1, 2, and then 3. Very good. Okay. So Vibhav, the king is here. Okay. I want to take the king here, but there is a bishop here. Not here. We'll put the bishop here. Okay. So the king has to go to this square. Let's take this as a position. Okay. So the king is on d5. Hello.
Yes.
Okay. So,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, background maybe. So this is the king. I want you to take to d2. Okay. So you should remember the rule that it cannot move to a square which is controlled by the opponent. Opponent எந்த ஸ்கொயரை கண்ட்ரோல் பண்றதோ அந்த ஸ்கொயருக்கு கிங்க எடுத்துட்டு போக முடியாது.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I will put this rule in the WhatsApp group. Please translate this. Parents, please help me in translating it in your language so that kids will understand it much better. To remember that. So Tamil means I can tell. Other languages I don't know much. So you can help in translating, right? So I will do that after my classes. So here is the king. It has to go to D2. Now start. You have to remember the rule. If not, it would become illegal. Start.
D6. No, ma'am, no.
You have to go towards this direction. If you go there, you would be wasting.
D4.
D4, then
D3.
D3. Can it move or not? If you tell D3, that is an illegal. Check the board fully. Who is controlling D3?
King.
Kinga.
என்னடா இது queen என்னடா இது
அம்மா
So,
இது
யார்
king
control
சொன்னா
பண்ணுவாங்க? Opponent தானே control பண்ணுவாங்க. So, opponent ஓட என்ன piece இருக்குங்க?
இருக்கிறாரா
இதுக்கு king இது king
Wait, first question. How many pieces are there in this board?
எத்தனை பீசஸ் இருக்கு போர்டுல
2 pieces.
What are they? Name them.
King,
King na enda king. Which king?
கிங் இருக்கு
black king,
Let him tell answer. Okay. Black king. Then
அப்புறம் என்ன இருக்கு
white bishop,
okay, white bishop. So which is the, so we are learning about king. Correct? So who is the opponent here?
யாரு ஆப்போனன்ட்
white bishop,
So how does a bishop move?
diagonal,
And in that diagonal, if there are empty squares, what will the bishop do?
control,
So which square the bishop is controlling here?
diagonal,
எந்த ஸ்கொயரை கண்ட்ரோல் பண்றது
With respect to king, நீ king எப்படி எடுத்துட்டு போகணும்னு நினைக்கிறல்ல, so அதுல எந்த ஸ்கொயரை கண்ட்ரோல் பண்றது? Check the king's path, king's way, and which are the squares the bishop is controlling.
E,
E,
E5,
E5 is a dark square. This is a light square bishop. Check. Put your hands properly on the screen and tell which square is that.
கை எடுத்து இதான கண்ட்ரோல் பண்றது அப்ப இது என்ன ஸ்கொயர்
What is the name? You check the number. What was the number there?
E4
E4,
See, this is
E4.
controlling this diagonal, okay? Now tell me, can the king go to D3? Yes or no? Can the king go to D3?
no,
No. Then where else will you take the? So now the first step you said D4. After that, where will it go? It should not go to D3. But it has to somewhere reach here, right? எப்படியாவது போகணும் D2க்கு. So வேற என்ன வழி இருக்கு? How else can it move? Others, please, you also try to tell the answer, okay, in the mind. So it would be helpful. You don't need to unmute, but still you can try the answer.
E4,
E4 he cannot move to e4. See, opponent in the squares along control pandran. Okay, I'll put it in yellow. Opponent is controlling all these squares. Okay, நீ அந்த squaresல king எடுத்துட்டு போக முடியாது. So you have to omit all these squares. Even if it is on the way, still the bishop is controlling. So you have to omit all these squares. Now the king has moved here. It has to move here. So the king has to go here. So now what is the other way? King move one step in all direction. You can use that and reach here. How else can the king move?
சொல்லுடா ஜோரா சொல்லு
D3.
So you can put it to e3. D3 pogadu. It cannot move to d3, but it can move to e3. So what did we learn in the last class? Light square bishop, na, it will only control the light squares. So the king can move one step this way, and then after that it can reach here. Or say if this is the position, okay, it cannot jump. I'll clear the board. Okay, so if this is the position, then it can move here to c3 dark square, then it can move here. Okay, so you have to omit only these squares, light squares, because this is a light square bishop. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to teach you something important. Everyone please be on mute and listen, okay? So we learned how does a king move. Now let's learn how does a king control. Okay, how does a king attack? How does it give support? Okay, more than that, let's learn how does it capture. Okay, so there is no position like this, that would be illegal. I will explain these things later. Okay, so if this is the position, okay, the rook is controlling here, the rook is also controlling here. Okay, so king cannot move here. So these squares, king will not be able to move, but the king can move here. Okay, so now in next move, he can capture this because it's on the king's way. Note, he cannot move to these squares. 1, 2, not possible because the rook is controlling, but he can capture the rook. Okay, when he captures the rook, he is in a safe place. There is no more attack in the c5. Okay, that rook was not supported. It was not having support from any other piece. Okay, it is alone. Okay, when a piece doesn't have any support from other piece, king can capture such pieces. Okay, in the piece ku vandu support illa, adanala king ala da capture panna mudiyum. Ena capture panna adu safe square ku porudhu. Okay, so this piece doesn't have any support. Okay, and that is why king can capture it. Even when he captures this, he will be still in the safe square. But let's take this as an example. If a position is like this, now what is happening? There is a rook for the opponent. There is also a bishop. And how does this bishop move? Bishop move diagonally. And what did we learn? When there is own piece on the bishop's way, then this bishop gives support to this rook. Okay, now we can say rook is getting support from the bishop. Now what will happen if the king captured? That would be a mistake because king will go to an unsafe square. The square is not safe. It is still controlled by the bishop. Okay, so this supported piece king cannot capture. Okay, king can only capture unsupported pieces. If a piece is alone, it can capture. If the piece is getting support from some other piece, then the king will not capture. It cannot capture. That would be a mistake. So we call it illegal. Okay, so we will do a quick exercise on this. Anyway, we will be having a revision of king in the future class. Okay, so that time we would do more exercise. For now, you have to remember these rules. King will not go to a square which is controlled by the opponent. King cannot capture supported pieces. If a piece is having support, king cannot capture it. Okay, whenever the piece is alone, he can capture. Okay, so we would be doing more exercises later. So we'll do a quick round. So Anudipti, tell me if I can capture this rook, yes or no?
No. Teacher.
Why? Because it is having support from this bishop. Okay. Next. Kanya, can I capture this rook with the king?
Yes, sir.
Yes, because the rook is alone. So I can capture. Okay. So that's how you can remember it easily. Okay. Joshita Shri, now can I capture the bishop with the king? Yes or no? Joshita?
Ma'am, 1 second, ma'am.
Okay, so can you capture or not? Okay, let her come back. Meanwhile, Vibhav, can you answer this? Can this king capture the bishop?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
ஒண்ணுதான் கேக்குறா.
Vibhav tell. So அந்த piece capture பண்ண முடியுமா bishop?
Yes.
Because the bishop is alone, it is not getting any support, it is alone, so the king can capture it. Okay, so now Vardhan, can the king capture the knight?
Yes.
Okay, why he can capture?
No
Because
friend.
no friend, yeah, so no support, this piece is alone, so the king can capture. Okay, so any doubt in this? Oh, I didn't ask Sanjay. Oh, Sanjay illa. Okay, so any doubt? So I will send these rules. Parents, please help in translating it in your own language so they can understand these two things much better. So can we finish the class? If you have any doubt, you can send a voice message. Whenever I have time, I will give the reply. Okay, bye.
Bye, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Bye.
Bye, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, bye.
Bye, ma'am. Bye.
Bye.